Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Taking a look at a very interesting Big 12 matchup as Iowa State heads on the road to play the Oklahoma Sooners. And I don't need to remind many Oklahoma fans or Big 12 fans how tough this Iowa State team can be. And although they haven't looked great the last year and a half, especially the first 4 games of this season, this is an Iowa State team that, you take a look back at last year, a lot of one-score losses, playing a lot of really good teams tight. This is an Iowa State team that likes to slow the pace down, likes to kind of drag these games down into the muck a little bit, keep them close going into the second half. And what I've been so impressed with Oklahoma thus far this season is Oklahoma can win those kind of games too. I mean, they can win in a shootout. We talked extensively about how potent this offense can be. That being said, in games where they need to rely a little bit more on their defense, they've been able to win those games too. It's a very complete Oklahoma team. Excited to get into some of these matchups. Now, before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys and especially the Oklahoma fans. The amount of support you guys have shown the boys, it's truly been phenomenal. Can't thank you guys enough. Y'all know how much I like talking about this Oklahoma program, largely because of all the love that you guys show. So one, if you do enjoy the content, you want to support the boys, consider subscribing to the channel. But more importantly, and again, the best part about doing this, especially when talking Oklahoma, is hearing from you guys. I learned so much from you guys in the comment section. So drop your takes, either what you're looking for against Iowa State, what you thought about that Cincinnati game. Appreciate you guys rocking with the fellas. And without further ado, let's get into this. And I want to start with this Oklahoma offense going up against an Iowa State defense that it's stingy. It's been stingy for a little bit. They got some guys in the back end who are really, really good. TJ Tampa, I think, going to be a day 2 pick in the NFL draft. And you take a look at some of the numbers, giving up a 50% completion percentage to opposing quarterbacks, only 19 points per game. This is an Iowa State team that, yes, that offense struggles in a big way, but this Iowa State defense, extremely stingy. They are very, very good in zone coverage. They make the throwing windows very small. Very excited to see what Dillon Gabriel can do with going up against an Iowa State defense that, again, it is very disciplined and it is very good. And it's kind of a two forces kind of meeting each other, right? Iowa State, very stingy through the air, only giving up a 50% completion percentage. Dillon Gabriel completing 79% of his balls. That's number 1 in the country. They're also averaging 10.5 yards per pass. That's top 10 in the country. This Oklahoma offense is extremely explosive through the air. And when you're completing a high percent of your balls for a lot of explosive plays, that's a really good recipe. I think we've seen that from this Oklahoma team. But more importantly, I think the best thing that you're seeing if you're an Oklahoma fan is all these playmakers stepping up in that wide receiver room. And this was the biggest thing that we talked about heading into the year was you lose guys like Marvin Mims and Theo Weiss, Braden Willis. Who's going to be stepping up and catching passes this year? We knew this group was talented, but it was a little bit young, a little bit of inexperience. They're stepping up in a big way. And Andrell Anthony, you guys know, if you've been listening to me back in the summer when I guess this was the winter when he transferred from Michigan. And this is a guy that he's really good. As a Michigan fan, I was extremely excited about him. That being said, it wasn't a great fit in that Michigan offense. And we said it's a lot better of a fit with Oklahoma, letting him operate in a little bit more space. And you certainly see that. I mean, his ability to create separation in his route trees, to win down the field with that speed, to work after the catch. Andrell Anthony's a box checker, does a lot of good things. And you're seeing him kind of emerge as that go-to target in this Oklahoma offense. But you're also seeing a lot of other young guys step up too. Jaleel Farouk looking really, really good. Anderson's looking good. Gibson's looking good at times. You obviously have Drake Stoops. We had question marks about if these guys could step up in that wide receiver room. We're getting our answer. There's a lot of guys who are stepping up, but what you have to be probably most impressed with from this Oklahoma team is the balance. Like, yeah, this team is really having a lot of success through the air. I think Dillon Gabriel quietly putting together a Heisman quarterback kind of season. They also can run the ball. They got a very good offensive line and a staple of running backs, right? Whether it's Tawee Walker, Marcus Major, Javante Barnes, whoever kind of gets those touches that game, it seems like they just like to ride the hot hand, let one guy kind of carry the load. This is a group that's extremely talented. It's extremely deep. And I think you're seeing that really pay dividends for how fast this Oklahoma offense plays, right? When you play as fast as Oklahoma does, you got to have that depth. And I think last year in the second half, that team did not have the depth that they needed to run as fast as they do. On both sides of the football for Oklahoma, they have that depth. When you have a staple of running backs, you got to tackle a guy like Tawee Walker, Marcus Major, or Javante Barnes 30 plus times a game. Like, that is going to wear down opposing defenses, and I think that's why you're seeing so much success in the second half from the Sooners team. Now, flipping the side of things, the Iowa State offense has been just straight up abysmal. I mean, you look at some of these numbers, 2.3 yards per carry. That's 123rd in the FBS, only averaging 18 points per game. That's outside of the top 100. This offense struggle. They don't really have an identity. I think they want to run the football, but they can't really successfully. I don't know if they have the playmakers on the outside to be like airing it out as much as they can when they can't run the football. For Oklahoma, you look at the key to the matchup here. If you can win on first and second down, this could be a long day for Iowa State. And again, Iowa State has not ran the football very well. Oklahoma's been good against the run. If you can win on first and second down, force a lot of third and longs, really get after Rocco Becht, that's probably the key for the Sooners team. And you look at this Oklahoma defense. As much as we want to talk about the offense and them putting up points, this Oklahoma defense this is the Oklahoma defense that we expected year one under Brent Venables. And it just took a year to get his guys to get that culture implemented, flying around the football field. Danny Stutzman, can you find a better linebacker in America right now? I mean, in terms of run support, filling gaps, getting behind the line of scrimmage, making negative plays, also phenomenal in coverage, tackles in space. Danny Stutzman is playing on another level. I think that's part of what Brent Venables, the linebacker position, is his baby, and you're seeing that pay massive dividends for the Sooners. This is a team that's only given up 8.5 points per game. And that is extreme. They played Cincinnati. They played SMU, two kind of very quality teams. Only 2.7 yards per carry. That's 13th in the country. How I see this game going is Iowa State, with kind of just a lack of talent on the outside. They have guys like Jalen Noel, who I think are solid, but they're definitely not game breakers. They're going to try to run the football, slow this down. It's hard for me to see them having success running the football against Oklahoma. I think you're going to see a lot of third and longs, and that is where this Oklahoma defense is becoming dangerous. With all those pass rushes they have, PJ Adebari starting to turn it up a little bit too, and Ethan Downs, Rondell Bothroyd. You have some guys on the interior. Jonah Laulu, I think, is playing really, really good football too. This is an Oklahoma defense that's playing on a next level. I think they have a really, really good back end that if you can create pressure and you have guys who are ball hawks in that back end, I think the turnover margin is going to be a big story in this game too. Getting to the pick here, Oklahoma 20-point favorites. This is not a game that I'm going to stand up here and say, go take Oklahoma to cover 20 points. Because Iowa State's a team that Oklahoma's going to win this game. I'm very confident that. I think this is the most complete Oklahoma's seen. I mean, definitely more complete than they were last year. Oklahoma's going to win this game. That being said, can they win by 3 scores against an Iowa State team that is going to try to sit on this football, try to take the air out of it, try to keep it close going into the fourth quarter? I'm not necessarily itching to take Oklahoma to cover the 20. That being said, I think they win this comfortably by at least 2 scores. I think the talent on both sides of the ball is just at a little bit of a different level when you look at it from a matchup standpoint. I just don't know if there's much Iowa State can do, especially on the offensive side of the ball, to put up points against Oklahoma. And as good as that Iowa State defense is, at some point, Dillon Gabriel and this Oklahoma offense, they're going to get cooking. They're going to hit some explosive plays. Give me the Sooners here to win this game comfortably. Again, be on your P's and Q's. I know you got a big matchup next week, but focus on Iowa State, take care of business, and then get ready for what's next week. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.